Welcome to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss the unidentified, the unexplainable, paranormal, conspiracies, and much more. Starring your host and co-host, Jenny Nicasio, Sean Kelly, and Jason Sledgehammer I. Petro. Brought to you by UPRN Network. Now for your host, Jenny Nicasio.
Good evening. Hey. Welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 105.3 in New Orleans, where they had a hurricane. And this is where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal, Sean. I'm not sure if this is normal.
I don't think so.
I just have to sigh. It's been a really hard day watching the news. I know we're not supposed to, I don't want to talk politics, but I was watching Tucker and I started to cry.
It's okay. I did too, Jen.
They left all the service dogs too. And
I didn't know that.
Yes, wow. It was on Tucker and I just broke my heart. Seriously. When it comes to animals, you know me, and I have a German Shepherd. I'm beyond I don't even have to say it. So I'm just not going to, and I'm going to try to, how they say, go on with the show. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So how you been, Jenny, besides this stuff going on?
I've been good. Been doing a lot of thinking and writing ideas down for new books. So I'm excited about that. I'm working with a young man. We're going to write a novel together. So it's going to be alien related as usual.
Awesome. So that's okay.
I'm a little excited about it. You know, anything to do with aliens, you know.
Call you the alien queen. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I like aliens. But you look dapper tonight.
Thank you. This is my pineapple shirt. I got it. There's a store up here in Pittsburgh where they sell my shirts, my size in shirts and pants. And I'm like spending tons of money and I'm starting to look good. That's why I wear my pineapple.
You're tall. You go to the big tall guy shirt store.
Yeah, it's called XL out there in Robinson Township. It's a very, very nice store.
Well, looks nice. I like your pineapple shirt.
Thank you. Cool.
I do. There was just this post on Facebook. There's a crew. I'm not sure. It's called a Pineapple. I'm not sure if they're rescuing people. They're I'm not sure if they're veterans, military. They're going in. I'm not sure if that's it or not. But I see you went on an investigation.
We had two of them. I had two of them.
And how was that?
I'd like to share some stuff about that. I'm going to go with the first one. Tara from Butler Paranormal, Pittsburgh Paranormal Butler chapter. She got an email from somebody from Upper St. Clair, and they were having ghosty problems. Ghosty problems. So they're into the metaphysical, they're into Reiki, and she had an altar with all kinds of stones on it, and her stones went missing. You know,
where did they go?
They don't know. But the little girl took them. There's a little girl spirit in there, and she was just a little cute little 12-year-old spirit, man, taking the stones. I'm telling you, every time I put the K2 meter by stones, should be like, it'd just go off like that. And I'm like, wow. That's pretty cool. But her sister, the guy's sister was deceased. And I think she wanted to cross over into the light, and we crossed her over. So that was a little sadness here.
Aw, that was sad.
Then the next day, and this is what really, really ticks me off about paranormal groups. People go in and they scare the living hell out of families. Okay.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm not going to mention names, but he is on my S list, really bad. And so this guy went in there and told him that this was an old orphanage, and there was an old lady that beat up kids, and all kinds of crap. And it was a young couple with two young kids, right?
Mhm.
and they were scared out of their minds. Honest to God.
Why do
were
they
just
do
like,
that? Why do they want to scare people?
just to make them look good in order for them to get back and do another investigation. But this kid doesn't have any marbles up in his head. And I don't give a shit if you're listening to tonight. If you have a problem with me, give me a call.
Oh, geez. Don't mess around with
So,
Sean when he's mad, huh?
oh, no, 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 no. Not when it comes to this. So me and a couple others, we went there, and a new girl in the group, Jessica, and what happened was me and her went in and we did a little investigation, and come to find out there was no old lady there beating up kids and stuff. There was actually her grandma
Oh my.
watching over her two young kids. And there was a couple angels in there and another spirit. But I hate when people do that. Why would you want to tell a person? Jenny, it's like me coming into your house and saying Lucifer's in your next room and it
Shit.
would hurt you. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. I don't think that. Why would they want to scare somebody? That just doesn't sound right. You're supposed to protect them. You're supposed to. That's like
Yes.
going to a psychic that tells you you're going to die.
Right. Well,
You
you know
know?
what? Yeah, but you know what? There was a certain very well-respected psychic out there, and she looked at this one guy in the audience. I'm not going to say names, but what happened was she told him, you're going to die in a month.
Oh
And
my
I'm thinking
God.
like this, and this is the number one rule. No one knows when somebody's going to die, right?
Mm.
Okay. Only God does. And when you're a psychic and you start playing God and telling people they're going to die, you know what? You might as well just like go out the door. I have nothing to do with you. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's terrible even to tell someone that.
Right.
And I think these investigations should be taken seriously. And I mean, you're dealing with people's emotions, and a lot of them that lost someone, close to them may be there, and they don't want to scare them like that. That's just not right.
Exactly.
It just leaves a bad feel to the whole situation.
Right.
Going back to investigations, we have a group, Southern Paranormal, and they are a group out. Go ahead, Sean. Are they out of Mississippi?
Yeah, you're going to have to ask them how to pronounce that name because I can't figure it out.
Okay, Southern Paranormal. And we have the founder here, and I'm gonna just want to get some more information about him before I bring him on the stage. It's based. I'm not sure how you say Casa Cusco, Mississippi.
I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't.
Southern
I even
Paranormal.
Googled it.
Well, he's going to have to tell us that. Southern Paranormal, they offer investigations for private residents, businesses, and other locations that are experiencing possible paranormal activity or unexplained events. Some places they have investigated, I'm just going to name a few, the Old Southern Funeral Home, the Old Attala County Jail. Is that how you say it? The Attala County Courthouse, Waverly Hills, Licking County Jail. Oh man, West Virginia State Penitentiary. There's a whole bunch of them. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on. Let me just make sure I have everything up and running. And welcome to Chasing Prophecy, Donald.
Hey, Donald.
How are you?
Nice to have you. We were just talking about Sean's investigations and how they, a lot of people scare the residents. So tell us about yourself. How did you get into the paranormal, Donald?
Well, first off, the town that we were actually in is pronounced Kosciuszko.
Kosciuszko.
Named
I
after
remember
the
that.
oldest general. You have to be from here to actually know how to say it or spell it. What got me in the paranormal? I can't tell you exactly when. But I've always been interested in the paranormal, whether it be spirits, ghosts, Bigfoot, UFOs, the whole, strange stuff out there. I've always been fascinated with it. And myself and a good friend of mine, my best friend, actually formed Southern Paranormal back in 2014. His name was Doyle Goss, and sadly he passed away last July
Sorry
of
to hear
last
that.
year.
My condolences.
Thank you. We decided that, keep his memory alive and everything. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing. So we me and him went, and some of the other people in our group went to a lot of places you've seen on TV, and a lot of other people have been to all over mostly up around like Ohio, Illinois, West Virginia. We've been to Savannah, Georgia, as far west as Texas. So yeah, we've been to a lot of locations over the years.
That's great. So, Sean,
Yes.
you can go ahead and start this conversation going, buddy, since you're the master of the domain.
So you said, so back in 2000, since 2014, how many people have you had in your group?
We were part of another group, and for whatever reason, we had a lot of issues, and we decided to split that group. And of course, we went our way, and they went their way. It was a lot of drama stuff, and it wasn't what we were about. And it was after the first 2 or 3 investigations, we were gone and going on road trips and stuff like that. It's like, man, this is fun. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
But we've had several different people, and after we actually formed ours, we were kind of very cautious on bringing new members in.
Okay. Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Just to not have the drama.
Okay.
Because you start up a group, and then everybody's coming out of the woodwork wanting to join up and stuff like that. So we were very cautious, and still are to a point.
Right.
Since Doyle passed, my wife, she was of course part of the group as well, and then we had Gavin Brennan, who's down in Brandon, Mississippi, and then we got Kyle Davis, who is up in Oxford, Mississippi, and then we have one more, Leanne Roseman, who is about 30 minutes from here.
Okay.
Not as far as some of the other guys. I mean, everybody's about an hour and a half away from each other.
Okay. I know that with my group that I had when I started it, I started my group in 2006, and we're still going strong to this day. But all those years, I had like over 100 and close to 150 people that came in and out. They rotated in and out. And oh my gosh, so much drama. I know what you mean. This guy's better than this, and we'd rather call out the spirits, and it just wasn't working. But I enjoyed it so much, okay? And I always wanted to give people the opportunity, no matter how they looked at it, if they were weird, very crazy, or whatever, how that person was. But as long as I could give them at least 2 investigations, to see how they act and interact with our people, and that we go from there. And it's just not my vote, my choice that they can be in a group. We usually have a group vote. So that's how I work with it.
But we've had many investigations over the years with other groups and all that we consider family.
Okay. Yeah. So do we. Yeah.
So we do branch out with other, like Waverly Hills. We had a big group that went there. Dr. Jim Clausen, the group Fallen Shadows. Heath, Shane, Ashley, Darren, Patty. I'm forgetting somebody. Ashley, Heath, Darren. Yeah. But yeah, I mean they've investigated quite a few places with us.
Okay.
They've actually been here at the funeral home. This is where we're at now. We're at the old Southern Funeral Home now.
Sweet.
This and the Attala County Jail here. And we're looking at some other locations that are right in the same area also. So
that's awesome.
So Donald, tell us, what kind of equipment do you use when you do your investigations?
When we first started out, we had a mobile unit, we called Shadow. And it was a big trailer that we had wrapped and had all the equipment and all that. And we had DVR system and 16 camera setup to where we could pull up to 16 cameras in there. And over the years, last year or two, Doyle was with us. We kind of quit taking it as much because it took forever to set everything up. Nowadays, we kind of what we call old school. We just take recorders, our REM devices, K2, the standard stuff. And do our investigations that way. Of course, we have the night vision cameras, we carry around with us and all that. So, kind of scaled down a great deal over the past couple of years on what we're actually using and stuff like that. So,
tell me about your background. Is that so? You're in the funeral home.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the chapel right now. When me and Doyle got access to the place here, back in 2016, we got access to this and the jail the same year. Well, actually, the funeral home was first, and then I think a year later we got the jail. Ironically, they were both shut down in 2016. The jail for different reasons on the actual condition of the jail. It couldn't house inmates anymore, so they shut it down completely.
Wow.
The
So
funeral home itself, they moved to a different location and all. And
so when you say you have access to it, so you can go in there anytime you want. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
it's not a running. It's not. They're not actually,
No,
caretaking people.
It's all. They got a new location across town that they do their funeral services and business all out of. And when we got the place, chapel was empty. Each parlor was empty. There's a few things upstairs that were left. Some embalming.
Is that a real? I mean, is that a real coffin? It's like a prop?
Yes, that's a real deal.
Okay,
it was made for a very large gentleman who passed away at a different location, and when the family figured out that they were going to have to buy 2 plots, they wound up cremating him. And long story short, we got a hold of it, and it's now in our chapel. We've got a child's coffin that's in one of the parlors, and then there's a regular size coffin in another one, and then upstairs we have a baby coffin that's upstairs. We moved it upstairs. It used to be in one of the parlors here, and we had a group come in that the lady had just had a miscarriage, so we was like, let's take that thing upstairs and, move it out of eyesight.
So Sean, you go ahead.
Yeah. So with the funeral home, I know that there was like 3 or 4 funeral homes that our group got to investigate, and they were actually still working. And what was crazy was the embalming room. You know what I mean? In fact, I'll tell you a story. One time we did an investigation at a funeral home, and we walked in this door, and this lady's actually embalming this dead person. And I'm like, whoa, this is not me, man. But with your funeral home there, it's intriguing. Are there a lot of spirits that hang around, or is there a certain one that likes to show himself a lot? A girl, guy, baby?
No babies that I can recall. We do have several different spirits that reside here. One being a previous owner. That's what we feel it is.
Okay.
Also possibly a caretaker. There's a shadow figure that hangs around out upstairs quite a bit. You'll see him in and out through the office and what they call the casket rooms, where they stored all the caskets for viewing. Whenever families would come in to pick out a casket, that's where all that stuff was stored.
Now, did you have any psychics come in and give and did they give you what they feel that was in there?
Yes, we've had a few come in. There's a few sensitives that's come through with different groups and all. Of course, we have the place open for, public investigations, or groups can rent it out for private investigations.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a few come in, and we already had kind of speculation of one spirit that was here. We just didn't have validation on for sure. And she came in, Miss Stormy Daniels. She was here back in February.
Oh, wow.
Of this past year. Her and their group came in. I'm a big skeptic, anyways. Always have been, and that's just part of the paranormal. I think for myself, it's got to be, pretty good evidence for me to say, that's a paranormal going on. We've always tried to debunk everything we possibly can to prove that otherwise. But she came in and she walked around a good bit, and we were upstairs. She kept on asking me about brown bag, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have no idea what you're talking about. I said, there's somebody here. He's very adamant about his stuff. He said they don't like people touching his stuff. I was like, okay. So we walked around, she did her thing around in here, and then we went upstairs, and she went back and forth to different rooms, and she stopped in the office upstairs, which used to be the upstairs used to be a living quarters to a previous owner, back 2 or 3 owners ago. They actually lived on location upstairs.
Okay.
Funeral home downstairs. And she said, this is where he slept. This is where he worked. He said, and she started saying, he doesn't like people messing with his stuff. And she's like, I don't understand what the brown is. Brown. I said, I don't understand what the brown bag is. She said, well, it's not brown. Brown bag. I'm just getting brown. The word brown is like, and I'm like, hold on a minute. So we were here the week before that, and I had taken one of the closets upstairs has some suits and everything that were left. So I had taken a suit out of there and put it in an embalming room for kind of like a little prop thing for the room there. And I went and got it, come back in, it was a brown suit.
Oh, wow. Ain't it neat?
So that's it. That's what he's upset about. So you took his suit out of the closet there. So, well, I'll put it back. So every once in a while, I'll get it, take it out, just see if he'll, get some interaction with that trigger object and all. But one thing that really sold me on her abilities and all was we were done within the initial walkthrough and all. And we were sitting in what's called the music room, which is just right over there. And she was sitting down, and of course we had cooked out a little bit because we had a big group here, a lot of people here. We were, trying to fix some plates and all. And she was like, somebody slept here. She was sitting on one of the couches. I said, has anybody ever slept here? It's like, yeah, I mean, we slept here last weekend. There's been other people that slept, overnight at the funeral home. And I said, she just kept on, well, he slept here. He won't tell me his name. And I called the other members of our group in because I kind of had an inkling of who she was talking about. So we sat down, and she started looking at me. She's like, he's watching over you and watching over the place. And we all kind of looked at each other, the members, we started tearing up.
Right.
He said, he's like, he wants you to know that he's always coming in and looking after you and looking after the place. And
did you get chills?
Yeah, I did. And she gave some details regarding Doyle that only probably 5 people knew about. And when she started spitting out some of these details and things like that and all that, we all kind of broke down and started crying because we knew exactly who it was. So,
okay,
she
now
sold me on the psychic ability, big time.
I do have a question to ask you though, and I have skeptics in my group, and I was wondering if you're still the skeptic of the paranormal. what really got you into being in a group and a founder of a group if you're skeptical about things?
Well, I'm not so much
That's
skeptical about the paranormal itself. It's just
okay.
some of the evidence and things like that come through.
Hmm.
Is more. That's the more skeptic of me is if
Oh,
we get
okay.
and things like that. I truly believe there are things out there that we have no idea what they are, what it is. And it's not just ghosts and spirits and things like that. It's just so much
Now,
out in this world.
now I was doing a little research on the name of your town and the surrounding area of that town, and there was a Civil War battle there, or pretty close to your place. Have you seen
Uh,
any Confederate soldiers or Union soldiers?
I have not. There was I don't think there was a battle actually taking place in the city limits of Kosciuszko. I'm sure there was on the outskirts and stuff like that.
Hmm.
There is speculation and rumor about a certain house in town that used to have back in the Civil War, still standing today, and that had I want to say Union soldiers camped out on the lawn and all. Of course, it's all
Right.
different now. It's all city streets and things like that now. So
Isn't there an old section part of your town that's like from whenever, like the 1800s? I mean, I know in Pittsburgh we have what you call the Mexican War streets down in the north side, and I was wondering if there's any place like that in your town.
it's not actually set up to where it's an old section or new section. I mean, there's a lot. Excuse me. A lot of older homes built in the 1800s that are
Hmm.
still standing. One is the Kelly House. One
Cool.
is the Peeler House, which we actually just bought about 4 months ago. It was built in 1898.
Hmm.
Me and my wife purchased it. It's like it's an awesome place. I love it. It's got plenty of room for all of our kids and everything. It's like,
Oh, so you're living in it. You're not rent.
no, we
I
bought it.
mean,
We bought it. We're
you
living
bought
in it. We moved in about three to 4 months ago.
any
Good friend
ghosts
of
in
ours,
there?
Eileen Jones. She was supposed to be on the show tonight. She came down and helped us move and everything else.
Cool. Now, have you experienced any paranormal activity in your house?
There's been a couple things happen there that kind of make me wonder. Supposedly there was a suicide in the house.
Hmm.
Hopefully my kids are not watching right now.
Oh yeah, really?
Um, it was called the Thompson Peeler House, and old man Peeler actually owned a lumber company right down the street
Hmm.
from there. His wife had committed suicide after she had found out he was having an affair with his secretary.
Okay.
Of course, I went back and looked up, some things on that, and he wound up remarrying, and it was it was shortly after the death of the wife. So
Okay.
we've been digging into some of that stuff. But there's been a couple things.
Okay.
One night I was in there. I was waiting for my wife to get off work, and I was laying in the bed and just sitting there messing with my phone, and I felt like somebody had come and sat on the edge of the bed, and another good friend of ours, Beth Allen, she came and did a walkthrough and was talking about certain things she feels in the place and all
Okay.
that.
So that would scare the hell out of me. Sorry. So you actually moved into a haunted house.
Yeah, when we were talking about buying the house, and all that, and our thing is like we were telling some other paranormal, family members, I'll say, that we know. It's like, hey, we're buying this house. Like, what the best thing is? Somebody died in it.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes. It is. It really is
And
exciting.
that don't freak you out.
No.
To live in a house that someone died in. No, it was a suicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you think about it, any old building that's been
Yeah.
around for 100 years or better, even before the funeral service and all that, everybody used to have wakes and things at their house. So you've always had,
Yeah.
you've always had, somebody has died in an old house anywhere. In any old building you go to, if it's an old building, somebody's died there.
Yep.
Yeah. I know, especially the old ones, they would lay the body out and take pictures of it, which I think is
Yeah.
really absurd.
The morbid,
That was a tradition to do that.
I know.
Take a picture of the dead. Yeah.
That's
there's
really
a lot of
freaky.
pictures out there of that stuff.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Not just taking in the casket and stuff like that, but they would pose them up like they're part of the family portrait still.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy. So, tell our viewers about the courthouse. And I'm not sure how you pronounce that. The Attala.
Attala. It's named after an Indian princess.
Sean was reading online that you have a contest for people on an investigation with you and your team at the courthouse.
Yeah, that was a couple years back, about maybe 3 years back, and you got to get over here. You can't sit over there. My wife.
You got the.
And
she doesn't want to be on.
Yeah, she'll come over. I'll have to scoot over a little bit. Oh, the other way. Forget everything's reversed.
Let's see why we can't get. I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna take.
There we go. Are y'all still there? Because I can't hear y'all. Hello? I don't know what happened. The courthouse, we actually did a contest about three years ago, I guess. And we had the radio station all kind of pick the winners and all that. And we did a public investigation that night, and then kind of walked everybody through the courthouse and all that stuff. And then later that night, we're going to have some winners that actually go inside and investigate with us. So that's kind of what we did on there. We've investigated that place twice and caught some really good stuff in there. Had a spirit down in the basement part saying mayor. And of course, we got the mayor down there to listen to it, or listen to actual EVP and all. But y'all still there?
And I just wanted to.
There we go.
There
we don't
go.
see your wife or girlfriend. Is that your wife?
That's my wife. We were married.
Put your head in
years.
there.
Saturday was our anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary. How many years?
8 years.
That's
8
nice.
years. Awesome. Congratulations. And your wife's name is?
Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
We're
all
doing good. So you're a Ghostbuster with your husband?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Oh, my God. Yes, ma'am. Nothing against you, Rebecca, but yes, ma'am.
I was brought up right.
Yes, you were. What do you think of the paranormal, Rebecca? What got you into it?
I was not that big into it. Donald and Dole were more into it beforehand, and there was one trip they were going on that was up to West Virginia Penitentiary and Trans-Allegheny. They were doing both of those in one weekend, and of course Donald was like, well, why don't you just come with us? It's just a little vacation away from the kids for you, blah blah blah. You don't have to do investigation. That's the time we had Shadow, which was our trailer. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go sit in the trailer all night. 13 degrees, snow and weather the first night at the jail. God, and it was freezing. But there was one certain person who just made me so uncomfortable that I decided to go into Trans-Allegheny the next night.
God bless you.
I know. But pretty much about an hour afterwards, I had a camera in my hand, a recorder in my hand, and I was gung-ho all for it.
Sweet.
Heard some voices that night, heard some footsteps down the hallway. I was pretty much hooked after that. So
What's your favorite piece of equipment that you like to use?
Oh, a recorder.
Recorder?
Yeah. I mean, I really like to go old school. I don't. I mean, you can get some validation from other stuff, but having that EVP that you play back and you can hear something that you know for a fact that was not there. It's just, you can't deny that.
Continue. I'm gonna see if I can pull this EVP up. And you know what I'm talking
That'd be cool.
Oh, really? So I'm fixing to tell you, my biggest EVP that I've had is we went to Waverly. We were in the body shoot.
Right.
Fixing to do an intro for our video that we usually put together a video of our hunt for the night, and we'll do an intro video, and that's where we decided to shoot. It was in the body shoot. So of course I got mic'd up and had my recorder on me and everything like that, and I pressed record, and I was just a test 1 2 3, no more than 5 seconds, and you clearly hear a little girl in the background saying, Mama.
Oh wow.
Oh geez,
That's cool.
I've got it.
Oh, good. Play it.
If I can get it to play.
I'm on the podcast, so I'll call you back later.
All right, come on.
Me and Miss Ronnie are the real home on the podcast. Everybody else is at home. Love you. Bye.
Where's it at? There it is.
Testing.
Wow, dude.
Oh my
Holy
God,
crap.
that is. You have
Sweet,
to play that
man.
again.
Yeah, play it again, please. Ian. That is like awesome.
Testing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Now,
Wow,
where
that's
was that
cool.
again?
That was
What-
at Waverly Hills.
Oh my God, that
And there
is
had been
so
there had been
good.
clips of some pictures. They had filmed a B horror movie in there.
Yeah.
Years prior, and the director had went in the shoot, and this is a story I heard. Went in the shoot in there, and he felt like something was following him back up the stairs of the chute, because they got actual ramp and stairs on both sides. And he said he felt something. And he started taking pictures, and one of the pictures of this little girl in there.
Oh wow.
That one was.
Did you all get a
really
name?
good.
Did you all
Never
get a
got
name?
a name.
Never got
No.
a name, huh?
That's so
Okay.
sad, though. It's a little baby.
Yeah, we caught some
Wow.
stuff around 502. There's quite a few EVPs up in the
Yeah.
5th floor that we caught. Doyle actually heard one with his own ears
Yeah.
that we actually caught on.
That's sweet. That's when that happens, you got something good there.
Yeah,
Yes.
you didn't hear it while you were there. You only caught it on the audio.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, Doyle was coming back, when we got back, and he always did our videos and stuff like that. So he was going through the audio to kind of sync up with the video that he does, the program he does. And he calls me, he's like, "Hey man, listen to this." He said, because he was joking, because we always joked with one another. He said, "We didn't have any kids with us, did we?" It's like, "Yeah, I brought my kids with me, to Waverly Hills." And I was like, "No, I want you to listen to this." And he played it, and I'm like, "Wow." I said, "Play it again." And he played it again. I was like, and it's just one of those, it wasn't even a regular EVP session.
Wow.
It was just that was the whole clip right there of her coming on and testing her mic. and turning the recorder off.
Someone in the audience wants to know, can you see the levels of the EVP like on computer software?
Yes, that's what we do to analyze
Yes.
our stuff. And I will tell you this, from depending on the type program you use,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look for the spikes and everything that are to shorten up their time of actually listening for EVPs. I will tell you this from experience. I've picked up EVPs where there is no spike.
Right. Yes.
So
Do you use Audacity? Do you use Audacity?
I have used Audacity. The one we're using right now is WavePad Pro, I believe is what it's called. It's just like Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm very comfortable with. But
Why is that? Why is that?
I've just used it more.
Okay.
For the big part of it. But yeah, anybody that's new into the paranormal or doing the research or going back through your audio and stuff like that, I know it's painstaking and it stinks, but you got to listen to the whole thing,
right?
Because you can find stuff that find EVPs that don't even look like there's anything in there.
Well, that's
which
good
go ahead,
one.
Jen.
I was just saying that was very. I don't think that was fake. I think that was real. I mean, the way it was just too, because you could hear the other person speaking in the background, and then you hear that. It was just too clear.
Was our whole group there. Fallen Shadows was there. Dr. Jim was there.
I was the only female there too.
Yeah.
I bet you had your work cut out for you, Donald, huh? Well, when you were just explaining when you were listening to your EVPs on that program that you got, and you were saying that sometimes when you don't see a spike, you do pick up an EVP. What is your theory on where is that voice coming from if it's not on? Do you think it's on another plane? Do you think they're in a different dimension when they're talking to us on the EVPs like that?
That's the one piece of evidence that I can say, without a doubt, there's something else there.
Okay.
When you got shadows and devices going off, those are things that if you can try to get some intelligent interaction, like say your REM pod or your Ovilus or even Spirit Box, there's possibility that could be something interfering with that at any given time.
Okay.
The EVP stuff, if you've got good investigators and all that, especially if there's only one or two of you there, you pick up somebody saying something on there, then you ain't BSing yourself. I don't know. It could be that why certain spirits stay around certain areas, as opposed to moving on. And I've got a bunch of different theories on that whole thing. But as far as the EVP, something coming through there, it could be interdimensional. It could be another dimension coming through with
Jenny's gonna love this. Jenny's gonna love this.
Very thin in certain places, and
right.
That's my theory. I got two or three different things. It could be spirits coming, that are speaking to us. It could be something that is a interdimensional being that can, cross over or whatever and speak.
Okay. Now, I totally agree with you on some of those, but this is for Jenny. Okay. Do you think it could possibly be an alien doing that? Now, and I'm not joking. See, there's a long story behind that, but do you think it could be an alien that actually is mimicking somebody else's voice?
It's very possible.
Okay.
We are talking about the paranormal, and nobody's an expert, in my opinion. Nobody's an expert on this. There's people that have been around it a lot longer than anybody else, but we're always learning new techniques and new ways to try to get that evidence, and we're all still looking for the same answer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and then that's what we do on our group. My group, by the way, is the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. We were founded in 2006. And, well, all I know is that our producer, he's funny. If you ever get down and talk to him about ghosties, that's what he calls them, he claims that they are other human beings from other dimensions. Time travelers walking into our
well, I believe in the shadow people, like they're shadow people. You see them so fast in the back rooms. They're moving so fast. And because they're traveling through time. And that's what Greg wants to know in the audience. He wants to know. So let's talk about shadow people.
Yeah, please. Let's talk shadow people. What's your
my take on shadow figures? You know, why is there a lot of haunted locations that have spirits there that people have passed on at that location, or they're attached to that location after they die? And this is one of the places. You know, we have a shadow person here along with the spirits that are here. You know, I believe that there are portals in certain haunted locations, certain areas, and I believe that possibly these shadow figures are kind of a governor, so you will, over that portal. You know, maybe they're in that haunted location to make sure that spirits are not giving out too much information, you know, on the afterlife, on you know why they're there. You know, that's one of my theories.
Yeah, I think shadow people are really neat, and especially when you can get it on a camera. When you get a still picture of a shadow figure actually standing there. But recently, I've been getting into video, and video is where it's at. You know, everybody would yell at me at my groups. Oh, you need to use video, and I'm like, I hate video because I don't know how to run the camera, right? And so it's like, so now they taught me how to use a camera, and I enjoy video. The only thing I have a problem with, and let me ask you this question: does it bother you sitting in a chair for 8 hours watching video with the camera just staying in one place?
On that, I mean, you can actually, unlike the EVP where you really gotta listen to everything, and you know we've all done it. We've all kind of scanned through EVP audio pretty quick. It's like I don't see anything. The video thing, I found that you got one, because we got a DVR system set up in here on the funeral home that runs 24/7.
Right.
It records all the time. But when we started doing watching the audio or watching the video stuff, you're sitting there looking at that screen, and you just got to sit there and look at it, and your eye is going to pick up on movement automatically.
Right. Yeah.
You can sit there and just stare at it for a minute, and you can fast forward it just a little bit. If you go too fast on some of the programs, it starts skipping over, your stuff. Right. So you can speed it up just a little bit and take your time down a little bit on that.
So, are you the video watcher?
I'm the video and audio watcher, now. Dole used to do the video, and I used to do the audio. And we've got, I'll be honest, we've got some audio files that, I don't know, I've got probably 10, 12 hours at least worth of audio files that I've got to go through from investigations.
Wow. So,
I'm steadily building up too. It's like,
that's cool. Now, back to Mississippi. Okay. When I was doing my research, and this is what that really fascinated me, was Mrs. Laura Kelly, the statue. Well, first of all, I have a cousin named Laura Kelly. When I saw that name, I thought it was my cousin. But I see some here in Pittsburgh. But have you ever investigated that statue?
That fascinates me. I actually have not. I was doing a little. I mean, I know the story of Miss Kelly and all that. I was kind of refreshing myself because I knew that it might come up today, and it's like, I really have never tried to investigate out there. And I don't know. I really don't do cemeteries too much because there's so much contamination and bugs and cars and everything else around.
Right. Yeah.
Now, as far as like your EVP stuff, it'd be a little bit harder to pick out something out of there. But as far as your some of your devices, now you may be able to get some interaction that way.
Right. I'm going to have to send you a picture we caught out at a cemetery. I just got my phone. I don't have my computer. And a girl sat down in my group. She took her camera from her phone, clicked a picture, and you can actually see a figure of a man looking down at a grave. And we found that. And so we went over to where he was standing. And you looked down, and it was a girl, a lady, and her 2 daughters. And we were wondering, probably figuring out that guy's family was there that he was looking down upon. It was something. It was like he was dressed, back in the 1800s when everything was just where they wore plaid and, heavy wool coats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This guy it was 99 degrees when we were out there. And there's no way in heck was somebody else would be wearing something that heavy. It was a cool picture. I like cemeteries. When I started in 2006, that's how I got it, by going to cemeteries. And you are true, there could be a lot of contamination, but there are parts of the cemetery where there wouldn't be, and me and the group back then that I had, we'd just go and we'd just start snapping pictures. Like, it was like like me, I would take like over 400 pictures, at a cemetery. And it was fun, you know what I mean? And I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed looking at the pictures and coming up with stuff. And I don't know, you should give the cemetery a shot. But back to the Miss Kelly statue, though. How about the house? Have you ever been to the house?
No, it was actually sold. I'm not sure who owns it right now. I don't think there's anybody living in it right at this moment.
Okay.
Some swapping hands, foreclosure, or something. Some kind of big red tape thing was involved, and I think a realtor company may own it, or some kind of business owns it right now.
Okay.
We had always talked about trying to get into the Kelly house.
Okay.
Now I don't know what all you've heard on Miss Kelly's statue. I don't know what this is.
What is that?
Came across our screen there.
I don't know.
Augie. That's not.
I don't know what that's doing there.
Oh my gosh.
I can't see. That's good. But,
I have no idea what that was.
A lot of legend and stories through the years. Even when I was a kid, I'd hear different stories about Miss Kelly and about her killing her kids and
Who is that?
That was me.
it.
Oh, okay. I thought,
That was it.
what is that?
I was like, it was like the spirits in the funeral home.
Yeah. I turned it down when you started. And I turned it back up. We did that.
Augie, why don't you put it? It was Augie trying to put a picture.
But there was a lot of legend and stuff, revolving Miss Kelly, and a lot of misinformation on, what actually happened. Don't know how she died. I don't. But she passed away in
1890 something.
Yeah, I think it was 1890.
Yeah,
1890, and of course she had two kids that died before she did, and then she had 2 more that died, after she did. So
now, a couple of things that I read up on, like you were saying, the statue, it's like that she is weeping. My question to you is, I know Mississippi's hot, and it is humid, but is it possible with all that humidity down there that actually sweat, water, anything like moisture be coming from her eyes to make her weep?
Moisture seeping out. It was built over in Italy.
Okay.
Shipped over and all.
What's your
Go ahead.
What's your theory on with that? What do you think happens with her crying like that?
Me personally, I've never witnessed it. Of course, I've never, went out there. I've seen the statue many times.
Right. Right.
but we've never been out there investigating, it itself. They did. They had somebody, I guess, vandalize it several years back and broke a hand off of it in a walking cane, and they had a fundraiser done to redo.
Is that one of your pieces of equipment?
Yeah, somebody just went off. I don't know why.
I heard that. Yeah, that is cool as heck. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Rufus is on. Slimer's on. The Pegasus is on. Shadow's on, and the mini pod is on. The rest of them are not built yet.
Oh wow, that's going to be for later on in the show about your animals that you make. But no, and something else about her, something about her turning or having a rose in her hand.
She's on a pedestal. It's all concrete pedestal. I mean, she can't.
Right.
It doesn't spin or anything like that. But I've read some things on that, and I just.
Oh, there's a picture. There's a picture that we took in the cemetery. She's going to have to blow it up.
Have you actually been here?
What's that?
Have you actually been here?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
What, here in Mississippi?
Well, at the Kelly statue.
Oh, no. I was reading on your town, and the statue came up, and I thought it was very, very interesting. About it. Well, first of all, honestly, because my cousin's name is Laura Kelly. Okay. So that got me interested in it. And a lot of people the reviews that I heard, saw, and what I read was that all this is like really, really seriously true. And I'm having a hard time dealing with that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What bugs me.
I mean, it's a solid concrete statue. I mean, it's not
right. And what bugs me about people, and let me ask you this, I'll tell you that it really bugs me when people put different type of lures out there on such a statue or anything like, how do you think of that when people do that? I mean, I know the lure is fun, but whenever people take it too seriously and you end up having a freaking argument with people about it, what's your deal on that?
Me, I'm a big, and she's even bigger. I mean, she's a big history buff on researching and things like that.
Okay.
I like to dig. If I hear something, I like to dig into it and, find the facts and, over the legends and the lore. I want facts out of stuff.
Do you see that picture? Do you see that picture on your screen?
I can't. I don't have my glasses on, so.
Does your wife see it?
Is it right here?
Yeah. Okay. If you look over to the left, you'll see a man standing. That is the picture right there.
Oh, okay. Okay. This ain't Miss Kelly.
No. This is the one I was talking to you about earlier, the one that we caught at the cemetery.
Right there. It's like right next to the edge, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's going to be it right there.
That's it right there.
I can't see it.
Oh, she's blowing it up for you.
Oh, look.
No, she has to
I got everything for tonight, and I forgot my glasses.
Oh, wow. That happens to me all the time, too. What kind of business do you do? I mean, what do you do for a living?
Oh, goodness. I'm a firefighter.
Okay. Thank you for your service. I've
been in the fire service for over 16 years, just over 16 years. I got 8 more for retirement, counting the days.
That's good.
Been doing that for 16 years. We own a martial arts studio as well. I've been teaching martial arts for over 25 years.
Wow.
Been in it since I was 10 years old. I'll be 50 Friday.
Happy birthday.
Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Saturday.
Happy birthday to you, brother. Happy birthday to you.
But yeah, I've been in martial arts for over 40 years. Been teaching for over 25. And besides the paranormal, we got our big family of 8 kids.
8 kids.
Yeah, 2.
Oh my goodness.
She had 4, I had 4 when we got together. So, we're the
The
Like the
Brady bunch. I'm sorry.
paranormal Brady bunch.
There you go.
Two are out on their own. 2 are out on their own. One's got a grandchild. And then 2.
Congratulations.
2 live with their
Do
mother.
Do your kids investigate with you?
We've had Caitlin
Yeah.
has came quite a bit, and she can see things that I can't. I hate it too. It's like I've been doing this and wanting to, and I always tell them about everybody gets touched when we go into investigation except for me, and I've been asking for it for since.
Well, they're afraid you're going to karate chop their butts, man. You know what I mean?
I think my one theory was like, well, maybe it's because I'm not scared, of that,
Right.
And then Beth Allen had told me that there's a female about 3 generations back that watches over me and protects me as my protector, along with the
That's
oil
good.
and some others. Like, so now I got to see if I can't contact with them and say, look, let this spirit make contact with me, physical contact.
Maybe he might not want that because they're brutal. They are brutal. I've been kicked. I've been punched, scratched, you name it. I've had it all. And in fact, we were up Gettysburg, and I got stabbed in the back on the bridge. That burned for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Did they break the skin?
I don't want to
Yeah. There was a little red mark on her. Honestly,
sorry.
No, don't be, please. No, honestly, it was just a little red spot right there where he got me, man. Yeah.
That's the one part of the paranormal I'm still, looking for, that interaction, that physical interaction. Actually, I don't want nothing, bad touching me, but
Yeah, I don't want anything. We're going to take a quick break, guys. We have to plug our sponsor for the second show, Carnation, are sponsoring the show. I just want to say how wonderful Carnation is. And thank you for sponsoring our second show. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, you know how to, drop us a line. We'd love to have you. We'd love for you. We'd love to talk about you, because I like Carnation, especially this is the breakfast essentials. I can't do it. My screen's in the way. Can you see that, guys? Wait.
Yeah, nah, it's like being a ghost.
You back up.
ghost box.
Oh my
Ghost
God.
box, there you go.
Why doesn't it work?
So which one do you like, Jenny? Do you like the vanilla or do you like the chocolate?
I like the chocolate milk one. This is good because it's a light start and it only has 150 calories and it has 11 grams of protein and only 11 let me see, 11. Let me make sure I got the protein right. There's 13 grams of protein. Why isn't it working?
So what is that? Is that like milk additive, or
There we go.
you add it to your milk, or what do you do?
Yes,
Yeah.
you just add it to milk, almond milk. You can even do water, but it's a light start. And it has 21 vitamins and minerals, 13 grams of protein, 2 times of calcium, and 150 calories. And it's really good if you're trying to watch your weight. So hats off to Carnation. I think you can see this. Oh my God, why
Yes.
can't I do this today? I think because we're having our screen
There you go.
smaller. Okay, there we go.
Thank you, Carnation, for sponsoring us. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
But
Buy some of that.
I want to talk about the West Virginia Penitentiary.
Oh goodness, I have to think back on.
Tell me if you've had any good experiences with that. Did you catch anything? Did anybody feel anything?
We had one lady that was there. She had gone to the bathroom by herself, and
That was
while
Moundsville. Okay,
was that Mount?
that was Mound. Yeah, that's
That's the
it.
same place.
That's it.
Yeah. So she was actually walking back to the trailer by herself. And what cell block was it? I can't remember what cell
Isn't that where
block
Shadow
was.
Man is at?
Yes. It was a cell block back past where the shadow man had been seen. And she had a cell, one of the cell doors slammed shut. And it scared her so bad that she took off running, and she looked like a little Scooby-Doo on camera from the trailer running back.
We had several cameras set up.
Scooby-Doo.
You could see her run in one camera, go out another one, and come back in another one. It was like it was like a U-turn right there. You had to go up down the hall through the cafeteria area and then back, back down. And it was like she was like sliding, going around.
Oh my God. I don't think I'd like to be in a penitentiary at night.
Oh, it's good. I was down there.
It was good.
It was good.
It's good.
It was good. But to me, when I was down there a couple times. And to me, do you remember the little chapel out in the field, out in the middle of
the what?
In the chapel, the little chapel area.
That was back in.
That was one of our.
That was the first. Well, I don't say that was first, but that was one of the first group investigations we did. Me and Doyle had went to Thomas House. Prior to everything else.
What's the Thomas House?
Thomas House is in Red Bowling Springs, Tennessee. We were just there back in.
Was it last year?
No, it was this year. When Heath
Was it this year?
When Fallen Shadows invited us down, and we were surprised. We were the surprise investigators.
Oh,
was that in March?
Might have been March. It was already warm.
It was warm.
Yeah, but we drove up, and only a couple people that knew we were coming because they invited us up, and of course some other investigators were getting there, and they were like, "Hey, okay,"
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the second time I'd been there. The first time was when me and Doyle went by ourselves at a public event up there, and we caught some good stuff there that night. Back to Moundsville, it was cold. It was bad cold.
It was 13 degrees, and it was snowing.
Yeah, it was 13
Welcome
degrees.
to our world. Welcome to our world.
13 degrees inside Trans-Allegheny, and I hate the cold. Oh my God, I hate the cold. I hate it with passion. Yes.
To be honest with you, I hate the heat. I don't like
to deal with the heat more than I can the cold.
But tell us about some other. I see that you do private residences. Is that correct?
We have done private residences. We haven't done one in quite a while.
Okay, so if I was living in your town in Mississippi, and I called you up for an investigation on my house, what step do you go through before you actually come to the house?
First thing we do is kind of got a questionnaire that we go through. They first tell me, what they're experiencing, and I automatically start, thinking, all right, well, what else could there possibly be causing this? But I mean, we go through a questionnaire, and I always tell them afterwards, I'm going to talk to the rest of our group, whatever, or if it's a case where it possibly might be something darker, there may be a bad attachment or something like that. I don't use the term demon so much because you don't run into them very often in my opinion on the paranormal world. I mean, you don't run into it like, somebody else in the paranormal community that's on TV. I don't call no names, but you don't run into them that often. And Kyle Davis is what we call our holy guy of our group. He handles all the blessings and the the exorcisms and things like that in our group. And the past few times we've had people contact us about it, it kind of fell into his lap on that. And he'll go out, he'll talk to him and see what he can feel, because he's a sensitive. He can feel and see things and get a vibe, even over the phone sometimes. And a lot of times he'll tell me, see, I called this person up, and man, I could hear it in the background talking, talking to me through the phone over her, not wanting me to come there. And he's done quite a few of those for himself and the group. I mean, people has contacted him personally, and gotten that taken care of. But if there's something, I'll throw out one that we did a few years back. Ladies, matter of fact, she's on our team now. A lady had contacted us, that a friend of ours, and her mother had passed away about 6 months prior. And she said, I'm having, of course, she lives in a little bitty house out in the middle of nowhere. Said, I'm coming home to, doors being left open and just certain different things. I'm hearing stuff, and she wanted some validation, of what it is. And I said, well, we'll come out and investigate. And we did. We investigated and really couldn't get a whole lot during the investigation. We did our usual EVP sessions, tried to get the, proximity sensors to go off and K2s and, and we did basically through the whole house. And then we said, look, let's try to get her in here and see if she can't get something to interact. So
Okay.
her back in her bedroom where her mother had stayed. It was her mother's room. And she said, as part of it was like, just talk to your mom. Maybe it's your mother. Because that's what we always thought and what she thought. I said, Mama, I want you to know that I love you. I miss you, and I love you very much. So we finished up the investigation, and of course, she's in our martial arts class as well. She's a black belt. And I pulled her out to the side. It's like, hey, I want you to hear something. And I didn't tell her, what it said, what I thought it said, and I let her listen to it. She started crying. Mm-hmm. I said, what did you hear? He said, I heard I love you too. I said,
oh, wow.
What we're picking up. That's what we're hearing. So that was, one of those, I guess, good feelings that you give somebody, some assurance and some validation on who's there at your house.
Do you, what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's been on since then. She's of course she's in our martial arts class, and we're good friends and all that. And she came on a public investigation we had over at Coatesworth, which is in Lexington, Mississippi, which we have to. Carrollton, Mississippi. Get it out. Not Lexington, Carrollton, Mississippi, which is about 45 minutes away. They actually used that house in the filming of The Help.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The lady that lost had the miscarriages, that was her house.
Yes.
Oh,
we
wow.
investigated last year.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're going back. Matter of fact, they went this past spring and did a public investigation for them. And then I couldn't make it because I came down with shingles. I was in the hospital about 5 days. If you ever had those things or not had those things ain't no fun.
I got my shot, dude. I got my shot.
I got something like this is weird. My brother got he got the COVID vaccine, and I was around him, and I started to get this weird pain in my head, like someone was poking me like with an ice pick. It was horrible. I went to the doctors, and she said, it sounds like you have shingles. And I said, how could I get I mean, it's not, I didn't have the rash or anything. I just had that stabbing pain in my head.
No,
and
you're lucky that you didn't get the rash.
I know.
It was all right here and up here.
See, my head was it felt like someone was stabbing me, and I went and she gave me steroids and got rid of it. So,
Now,
That's horrible.
is there like when you go on an investigation and before you go on your investigation, I don't like using the word ritual, but is there something that you like to do for protection before you go on investigation?
A lot of times we don't do. It really depends on the location, I guess.
Okay.
We did.
You always wear.
Now I do wear. I wear a cross around my neck every time we investigate. That's kind of my thing. It's one of my go-tos. And I'm kind of lost without it when I don't have it and all. But
Right.
you know, we like at Bobby Mackey's, we all did a prayer and all before we started investigating there.
Is there a demon in there? Is there a demon?
I sat. It was me, Dole, Mark, and Dr. Jim Clausen was there. And we were downstairs. Of course, you know, you have the upstairs, the basically the bar and the honky tonk part. And then you have to go outside and go around to get to the basement. And that's where the portal to hell is supposed to be and all that. It's all filled in now.
Right.
Bob Mackey's it's a good location. You get it off your bucket list. I mean, we went all through the place. I did hear a female voice downstairs. Got it on EVP, but on audio recorder, but you could not tell what she was saying, so we just threw it out.
Right.
But through that night, there's a video floating around somewhere in our stuff of me sitting in the portal, in the hole itself, and doing an EVP session. And I'm not one to really get harsh and mean or
I hope to God not, man. That buster. Yeah.
but I did there in that hole and never got nothing.
You're lucky, dude. You're lucky.
Pete.
That was my next question to you. We must be on the same wavelength here. But what for me, that is one of my biggest pet peeves in the world, in paranormal, is when somebody calls out a spirit. You know what I mean? Or gets downright angry with them. And I'm thinking, you know, think about it, right? That spirit that's in that in the establishment that you're at, they used to live there and they used to be human. You know what I mean? How would you like it? I'm not talking about you. This is
right.
What I used to say. But I mean, if I was a spirit and someone's calling me every name in the book so I can come out and say hello to them, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like, if you get angry with me, I'll get angry with you. And yeah, I'll say, I'll bust your camera or else I'll screw up your evidence or whatever you want. So that was like my biggest number rule with my group is you can't do that. You're gone. I mean, you won't even make it to the whole investigation if I see you calling out a spirit. I just have a problem with that very much. But
you know, like residential and I couldn't tell you when the last time I even tried to do something like it. Probably Bobby Mackey's, and it's probably been 4 years ago, maybe 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's been about 4 years. But you know, people have asked me on investigations, especially when we do public things here at the funeral home or over at Coatesworth or wherever we'll be. They'll ask me about, you know, what do you think about, you know, you think about demonic spirits or dark spirits or evil spirits. I said, look, I said, the whole demon thing, it's been pushed out there way too much. I said, most of the time, you're not going to, you know, come across an actual demon. Now, you may come across something that's not nice.
Right.
And always tell them, I said, look, you got good spirit. You got, just like you got bad people and you got good people.
Right.
You've got bad spirits and good spirits. It's like, you know, if somebody is an asshole when they're alive, they're probably going to be an asshole when they're dead.
Exactly. I agree with you. Let me tell you a little situation what happened to us. About 7-8 years ago, me and my ex-girlfriend, we went to this one house and we did our walkthrough. Okay. And the story behind that real quick was his wife, who's a nurse, she was at the hospital working, and he was pulling out of his driveway, and he got a phone call from his house. Okay. And he looked at it and he was like all confused and like, how? So he listened to the message and it said, killed the nurse. Okay. And his wife was a nurse. So that's what got us up there. And as we did our walkthrough, my ex-girlfriend, she was doing EVP sessions, asking questions. And as we're about to leave, I was talking with the client, and she gets out of the car and she says, Sean, you got to listen to this. And she turned on the EVP, and you can hear her question was, how old are you? And the ghost came back and said 93. And the client just busted out in tears. And the reason why he busted out in tears, because it was his father's voice. And that's how old his dad was when he died. So, some of the stuff that I've experienced, just crazy. But this is your show tonight.
No, I like sharing stories.
You like sharing stories? Good.
I sit here and talk about paranormal all night.
Hey, listen, I might take a road trip down there with my group, and we'll do an investigation. You got to set us up. I'd like to do that.
Absolutely.
I will.
I'll make sure, like October, November, when it's a little bit cooler. Oh yeah. I'll friend you on Facebook.
Okay. One good thing about this place, we have heat and air. We have power. Mm-hmm. We have bathrooms. We have a break room with fridge and microwave and coffee maker. And, cool. There's plenty of places to sleep. We've got probably 20 pews sitting here back behind the camera here and two or three couches. Yeah.
I was really looking into your group and into you personally to get some talking points with you. And I like the way you run things down there. I really do. I'm really impressed with it. There's not a lot of groups out there that do that, impressiveness. Now, real quick before we get into your equipment making, okay? Because Jason, he's my tech guy, and he's another co-host, but he's on vacation. But if it was up to you, what would you tell a newbie if they wanted to get into ghost hunting?
You've got to, if they wanted to get into it, you need to reach out and do some research, one on your own, a little bit far as like, looking on the internet and all that, and then learning proper way, I guess, to investigate. You don't have to come up with, everything that every other investigator has. You can investigate with nothing more than your phone. Everything. High-tech phones are now. It's got audio recorders and everything on there.
Right.
You do something very simple right there. Wouldn't download a bunch of apps on there that, I'm not. There's only a couple apps that I would even think about using.
What are those? What apps are those, bud?
Necrophonics is one that I like, and there's also one called, I think it's called Ghost Box. It's an SLS app. Actually, you can look up SLS, which I've got an Android, so I look it up on the Play Store. And, right. But it uses the camera on the phone. It works just like a regular SLS.
Those are really okay. The new girl in our group, she has one of those. When we did our investigation the other day, she showed me how it worked out. That was pretty sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got an old school SLS. It's a standalone. It's not mobile or nothing. We're trying to get it set up upstairs in what we call the long room or the dark room. There's a long hallway up there that the shadow figure likes to hang out in.
Right.
But it's it's old school, and the old Xbox 360 camera set up and all that. Got a computer and all that. We're going to set up to it, and actually going to put we're going to set it up in there and put a night vision camera on it, and that way we can watch from our base station, basically. The funeral home here, we've got an office downstairs that we have a 4-channel audio set, or 4-channel video set up, and it runs 24/7. That's where we got all our equipment stuff, so we can watch different areas of the funeral home from that one location. And I've also got a 4-channel audio system that you can plug a recorder in. Say right back here in the casket, there's a line that plugs into the recording side. You turn it on, hit record, and you can go in the office in there, and you can switch a button on, and you can listen to the audio from in there.
That's sweet.
You can run it to right now 4 different locations. The upstairs is one, and then there's here, and then there's like a parlor. But you can actually watch and listen to the chapel without anybody being in the chapel.
Oh, and I bet you just look forward to looking at all those videos that you have, huh? Whenever
I haven't looked at any videos of this place in a long time. Because we'll leave certain objects laying around, like in the casket here, or in the embalming room. We have a ball that sets up on the gurney, and have a penny or something sitting on top of it. So if I'm always coming back and checking on things here and all about once a week, and if I see one of our objects move, one of our trigger objects, messed around with, and I'll go back and look and see what's going on. We've had some issues here and there, but we've always found that it was, somebody coming in, maintenance or caretaker, or, something to that nature. We haven't had anybody in here besides us in a couple of years now. That's interesting. I can't wait to come down there. I don't know if it'll be this year, maybe next year, but I know I'm going to get down there. That's on my bucket list, to get down where you're at. There is a place that I like to go all the time, and I don't know if you ever heard of it, Prospect Place in Trimway, Ohio. I've heard of Prospect Place. I've not been there.
Dude, you got to go. You got to go. I mean, it's like a mansion built back in the early 1900s, and the people who owned it, I really don't know the backstory. I just go down looking for ghosts. That's what I do. But I know it was part of the railroad down in Ohio, but also it was part of the Underground Railroad too. And there's a lot of ghosts down there, and down in their basement. You actually, if you got your, I guess you can use your SLS, but if you have a good camera going, video camera, you can actually see spirits just cross like this. It was like, like doing that.
That reminds me of Hales.
All right, man, we can sit down and have some. You can have sweet tea. I'll have regular iced tea with no sugar. I don't do sweet tea. I don't can't do it.
You drink iced tea without any sugar?
No, none. Just straight up plain iced tea.
Okay.
No sugar.
I think we went to West Virginia. You couldn't find any sweet tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my issue.
That was your issue. Okay. Now here's a good part. All right, Jason, he sent me some questions to ask you about it.
Okay.
About your equipment, and what piece of equipment is most effective to you?
Most effective for me?
Yeah. Effective.
My audio recorder.
Your audio recorder?
Yeah, I've got a little pouch that goes on my arm here, and I can run my audio recorder. I can basically, it's used for a cell phone, your smartphone, to put in to listen to while you're running or exercising, whatever.
Right.
And it doesn't cost like, I don't know, $5 at Walmart, and I'll put my audio recorder in it, and then plug in a mic into it, and I'll attach a mic right here. And then I'll run another line out for my headset. And if y'all are ever looking in the headsets and all that, there's a bunch of them out there. I think, who was it? Sony. Sony makes a good one. And then there's, if you ever heard, if you're into music, I'm really big into music. Beats by Dre. I've got a pair of Solos. I did have a studio set which covers your ears completely, but the studios are or the solos are a little smaller earpiece. It doesn't block out everything completely, but man, those beats, you can't beat them.
Nah. Okay.
We use that for my audio. I use that for my audio review, and you can hear everything in there. Stuff you wouldn't hear on a regular headset, you can hear
Right.
through that headset. But I use that and do a lot of live EVP stuff on it. So I'm listening, as we're recording and all.
What got you into building trigger objects?
It was actually, when we first started, we're looking at all this different equipment. REM pods were, a big thing. And like, you can't find one that's, not under $200, $250, $300 for this, basically that,
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be a way to build that thing cheaper, for our group. And that's what I kind of started doing. I started, coming up with ideas. It's like, all right, how does this work? What makes this thing go off? What is it actually? What is this thing? And, it's a Thurman. You ever heard of a Thurman?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
It's basically a Thurman built in this, this clean out plug is basically what it is. I mean, this is all PVC clean out plug because there's the threads and all that.
Right.
It's like a 3-inch PVC thing with lights and everything else on it. And they work really good. So I kind of dabbled with that a little bit, and I never could get, because the Thurman kit that you can buy, only a couple places I've seen that you can buy it, and they're always out of stock, and you have to solder every component on the board and all that when you do get it. And I was like, I can't do that.
No, that's a little too intensifying.
But
I couldn't do that either.
Then I come up with this idea. You always hear about, spirits, taking and draining batteries completely, even though you just freshly charged it or just replaced a battery.
Right.
Well, I see that, on the shows, and you see that from other investigators. Like, well, what's the proof that? How do you validate that? How do you validate that it's not your battery? Going back to the skeptic part, how do you validate that it's actually that and not just a bad battery or whatever? So I came up with a device, and I don't have it with me, but it's basically a rechargeable battery that I got out of an old pad, an old not an iPad, but one of those old what was that thing? Anyway, an old pad. Took the battery out of it. I took the battery out of that. It's a rechargeable, a NiCad battery, and I went and bought a USB charger, hooked that up to it, and then I took a digital meter and attached it to all that, and put it in a project box and all that. So you're sitting there, and all it was just basically a rechargeable battery pack with a digital meter on it. So I can sit there and watch the digital meter show me how much is in that battery.
Okay.
So if something's going to take that energy from that battery, I should be able to see it automatically. Should go from 4.9 to 0, quickly. Haven't had anything drain it yet, but that was just one of my things. And what it got me into is just me building little things here for our group to cut down cost on equipment.
Right.
And then
now, what?
I didn't do anything for a couple of years. I didn't do anything for several years. I didn't dabble in the building thing anymore.
What's your thoughts on the spirit box? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good.
What's your thought on the spirit box?
You talking about the SB7 or 11?
Yeah.
Or just
the SB7 and 11.
We had an 11 and we don't have it anymore. The 7, we've got 2 of them. Of course, one of them's down right now. I like the SB7s, but there's also a way you can go inside and disconnect the antenna part of it, so that you're not picking up any outside interference from the antenna, like radio stations and interference like that.
Okay.
I like them and I don't like them. I like them as a interaction with spirits and using white noise and all that stuff. I've seen too many go through it, and if I hear something on that SB7, then I'm starting to count in my head to where am I going to hear something else? Say 20 seconds later, I'm hearing something else. All right, then I'm counting again. Am I going to hear something else around that 20-second mark? If I do, then I'm saying, okay, that's some outside interference coming in, radio station, whatever, coming through that one little bleep in there.
Right.
I do like using them, but they are extremely noisy as hell.
Aren't they? Oh my God. It gives you headaches.
Like, oh my God, just shut it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever done the, what's it? It's they named it after a guy.
Oh, the millimeter?
Now, use a spirit box with a noise canceling headset.
Yeah. We they're a husband and wife team couple. They're in my group. They do that all the time. That's pretty
I'm trying to think of the name of it. It ain't crossing my memory right now. But we actually did it here at the funeral home a couple times. And
how did it work for you?
It worked really good because Fallen Shadows that came down, our kind of sister group that we investigate with a lot over the years. And the one, Ashley, had not been here. They've been here twice. Ashley wasn't here the first time. She was pregnant with twins, and she quit investigating for a while. And she finally got to come down. And I'm in the parlor over there, and I'm doing an EVP session by myself, trying to speak with Dole. And they're in here doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So about 20 minutes later, I come in. It's like, all right, did you hear this, or this? Because these would have been my answers to my questions. Like, no. He said, but we did say, because they had one person asking questions, and she was, all closed up and just, saying what was coming out of the spirit box.
Right.
And she said, we asked if you want us to get Donald back in here. And she said, that's not a good idea. And then while I'm sitting there asking him, Kyle, matter of fact, it was Kyle, I asked him, about the questions. Did you get these answers? Like, no. And then while we were sitting there talking, we heard her say, I'm sorry, brother. And it's like, whoa. So that was Dole. Because he always called everybody brother.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
The hard thing would be, something else personal, but
Have in your trigger objects, in your dolls, do you think you can put an audio recorder in with it in order to do EVPs inside the trigger object?
Yeah, built-in audio recorder.
Yeah.
Possibly later on down the road. I've got some other projects that I've got in my head. I actually thought about, which if I can ever get caught up, I'm behind big time right now with builds and all. I've got several people wanting builds and just ain't had a chance to really get back into doing it. I've got, to answer your question, I guess there's some things I want to add to them, but I can't get caught up enough to dabble into the designing and prototype parts of it just yet. And there's also there's a 4-directional REM pod that I want to do.
That'd be cool.
I haven't even discussed with her. I just told her I got another idea. It's like, I don't want to hear about it right now.
That's right. She's the boss.
But I've got a good idea of how in my head I want to build it and what I need for it. And I think if I can get it working just the way I'm thinking, it's going to be a really good thing, where it's not just a proximity device to where, all right, something is touching this area right here. I want to be able to have a stationary system here, but if something's over here, 10 feet away, that's setting it off over here. Right. Makes sense.
I understand. Makes a lot of sense. In fact, long time ago, a guy built me a 4-way, 4-direction K2 system. That was sweet.
Be cool too.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite trigger device? What is your favorite that you use? Do you have a favorite one?
I like my Oculus. I was in here the other night.
Mm-hmm.
My Oculus 5. And you got to kind of play with it because there are random stuff, that comes through.
I have a problem with them. I got a problem with them.
It was sitting on the casket right behind me, and there's been nights when we set it there, nothing comes through. It doesn't say nothing. And then there's like the other night I was doing a live TikTok in here. We actually gave away one of our REM devices on TikTok. We had a drawing thing and all that, and that thing was sitting on the casket. It was steadily going off. It just kept spitting.
That's crazy.
Why does it work sometimes and sometimes it don't? That's what baffles me. Now, if it just randomly says crap all the time,
right?
Well, it could be programmed in there, but why does sometimes?
See, that's what I think it is. I think it's programmed in. I mean, to have a box that has 1,000 different words in it already, and I have done Ovilus sessions with people, and actually after it gets done or we get done with it, you just write the words down, and it's a sentence. You know what I mean? It's a sentence, and I don't know. I'm still on the wire with that.
Now we used it in Old South Pittsburgh back several years back. Keith Ramsey was with us. Dole was still with us then, and it was me, Rebecca, Keith, and Dole at Old South, and we went down the basement, and we were doing a session down there. And Keith from Deep South, he was down. He was playing the guitar down there, and a little bit. We were trying to get up with the spirit that was there, and a caretaker or maintenance guy or whatever back in the time, and we were done down there. We've been in there about 30 minutes or so, and we're getting ready to leave. We start picking up stuff and all that. She picks up the Ovilus 5, and it goes, "Sue," like really deep, raspy voice. And she was like, "Oh, hell no, take this down."
Because, I mean, I'm used to like that one monotone voice coming out of it. And this was just something completely different. It was deep and it was raspy, and I mean it was like drawn out, and I was just like, no, that's completely different. And since then it's happened one other time that
Coatsworth?
It changed. I think it was at Coatsworth that it actually changed voices.
Oh wow,
That's creepy.
do you have any questions, Jenny, for me?
No, I was just listening. I'm more, I mean, on the equipment, okay, but I like to hear the stories about the different places they've been to.
Shadow and grab the Pegasus and
Oh, you know what? You know what, Jen? I don't know if you heard it. I think you were off screen here for a minute, but we were talking, and one of their triggers went off as we were talking. It was cool.
What did it do? What did it do?
What did it do? It made a noise. It just beeped, didn't it?
Is that what
Yeah,
it was? Now, what, it beeps because there's somebody in there?
it works just like a REM pod.
Okay.
Yeah, the one behind us, we were talking, and it okay, you're noisy. We were talking, and one of the devices behind us went off.
So somebody was in
While
there.
we were sitting there. And
Now, what does that pick up? Like energy, like EMF?
it works just like the REM pod,
He's a
basically.
creepy little guy.
That's
This is
cool.
Shadow. Shadow is our group mascot. It's like he's on our shirts.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like your
Okay.
shirt.
If you can see the Reaper here,
Yes.
his eyes glow in the dark. That
And
was
so
made-
you have they're inside the
no,
toy.
no, not that one. That was actually custom made by Terry Long of Licking County Jail.
Oh.
She made that for. She does what's called Long Gone Dolls. You can find her on Facebook and all
Long
that stuff. She makes
Gone
those things.
Dolls.
Yeah, Long Gone Dolls.
I'm reading that right that time.
Yeah, write that down. So
She
she
makes-
sells them. Okay.
Yeah, she makes all kind of different ones, and she's she'll make them and sell them and all that. She makes some really really cool ones. She made
So what
that
does it pick up?
That one don't pick anything up.
Okay, so for somebody who doesn't know a lot about the equipment, so like this guy right here.
This is Shadow, our plush. He is one of 4. This actual plush here was custom sewn and made from a guy that I got contacts with. And what started it all was Slimer.
Oh, Slimer.
What started it all was Slimer. And had a guy talk about
it. So it's going off, or is she making it go off?
She's got it.
Okay.
This is Slimer.
Let me make your screen big. Let me get out.
I found Slimer and the Stay Puff at Walmart one day. They were on clearance for $1 a piece. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to get Slimer and we're going to take him on a whole bunch of hunts and everything like that. Well, he ended up sitting in the shed and he talks.
He does.
He does.
Uh-oh, his battery.
That's the character that was on Ghostbusters, right?
Yes.
Right. He's like a 12-inch plush, and I'd already started building what's called mini pods. And it's like the REM pod, which is a proximity device. So basically, anything that goes around gets close to the antenna, makes the lights light up, makes the sound go off.
Okay.
So when I started making mini pods, and I was making them, I was like, oh, see if I can even do it, because I haven't done anything like that in quite a while. So I ordered 5 and 5 of the 5 sets of components to make it. Of course, I messed the first one up, and then the rest of the other 4 worked great. I was like, all right, I got my system down. I know how to build it and all that. So, I was doing that, and I was like, I wonder if I could put one of these in something and make something called like Boo Bear. Boo Bear is this device that's been out for a while, and it's like, I don't know, like $300 for this one device. And I'm like, man, that is just too expensive. And that's what got me thinking, is like, I want to start trying to come up with some different ideas to where I can build something for groups or individuals that don't have all that kind of money to spend on devices, equipment.
Yeah.
So that's what my thing was. First thing is like, so actually, she told me not to put a REM device in Slimer, but I did it anyway. And now she loves it. So basically, and he's the very first one. So basically,
Yeah, sitting down.
Oh, dude, that's loud.
is that loud?
Yeah, it's loud. Yeah.
So this is what I want to find, like, for somebody who doesn't have any background on these equipment, like myself. Okay,
He's off.
What is it? Okay, how is it picking up sound? I mean, picking up presence of a.
It's a proximity device, and it's designed that if anything gets around it, whether it be spirit or otherwise, like a person, use it. And people have said something to me about it. It's like, why don't you build some of those for for infants or toddlers and all that? It'd be like a alarm that goes off for children in their crib or in their room or whatever. It's like, that's a good idea. But basically anything that gets around it.
Is it picking up electronic magnetic is it like a motion detector that you have on your outside of your house, like people have?
It's kind of like a motion detector, but it sends out a certain field out around the sensor that it's in. There's sensors inside him here,
okay,
and down the side. So if anything gets close to it, it breaks that field and it sets it off.
Now, would a Wi-Fi, like if you have a modem, like a router, would that set it off?
We've got Wi-Fi on now here.
And it doesn't.
No, it don't set it off. Now, you like the REM pod and the K2 walkie-talkies can set them off.
Okay.
They usually don't set these off, so do they?
Yes, I can get a REM pod to go off on a walkie-talkie. If they key it up, set it off. Now that could make it go down or make it go off. I'm sorry. Now I have had Slimer go off just as a test run to see, if it's going to make it go off at locations if we have walkie-talkies with us. Most of the time we don't have.
So cell phones, nothing like that will set it off.
Now a cell phone will set off a K2 meter, which is another device you'll see a lot.
So if you have your cell phone next to it, it would set it off. Oh, see, Sean, though, when you did some of your investigation, you guys all had cell phones.
Yeah, but they were on all airplane mode.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be pretty close. You got to be pretty close to it to make it go off.
So if you put it on airplane mode, it's not going to go off.
It's not supposed to.
No.
Okay.
Now, he started it all, and I kind of posted it online on our Southern Paranormal page. Like, look, Southern Paranormal's latest REM device. Well, that started a
fiasco.
Yeah, a fiasco. Everybody wanted Slimer.
Everybody wanted one.
Build me one. So I've built about 12 Slimers so far.
Now, how much do you charge? Like, if I want one, how do you?
Slimers, the plushes are $120. Well, everything's about the same price now.
About $120. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Now, he's not working because he's not built yet. But if you go on our Facebook page, either Southern Paranormal or Parapals by Southern Paranormal, that group is set up strictly for promotion of this and posting all the ones we've built. We did one for Soul Sisters Paranormal as a gift, and it actually has blue eyes.
Oh, cool.
Blue lighted eyes, and it goes off pretty good. And then Miranda Young, Ghost Biker Explorations, she's an artist also. I don't know if you've seen her YouTube series, Ghost Biker.
That's really cool.
Tennessee. She'd be a good one to get on your show. Her and Chris, they're opening up a haunted jail up in Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
Historic Scott County Jail. They're opening up this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
Really good people. We're good friends with them. And going back to the skull, I built her one. We did a memorial investigation on Doyle's birthday this past year in March and at Old South Pittsburgh, and I invited a bunch of paranormal investigators that knew Doyle personally, and we all had a 2-day investigation and mixed and mingled and all that stuff. But I actually presented her with a skull REM device. That's the first one I'd ever built.
They're really cool.
Miranda took it and painted it to match Soul Sisters' logo, because their logo is a sugar skull, and she had it painted all up to match their logo, and she carries that thing all over the place. And then
cool.
The Paracon we did in Kentucky about a month or so ago, I actually built one for Miranda and built it out of a replica of her motorcycle that she rides. And that was a pain in the butt to build. I did get it done, and you can see all those on our.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check them out.
And I can send you links to all that stuff on
yeah, I'd be more than happy to post it. But we're coming down to the wire here, so I just want to thank you, Donald, and your wife for being on the show.
We'll be in touch.
It was very interesting. So yes. I'm gonna let you guys go, and happy hauntings.
Happy hunting.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
You're welcome. I lost the wrong one. Well,
there we
Sean,
go.
There we go. Well, it's a good show.
Yes, it was. Very good show.
Very good show. Is there anything you want to say before we get off?
Yeah. Next, starting the 7th of September, after our show, I'm going to be starting my own show. But I'm still being part of Chasing Prophecy. I need you all to know that. All right. But there was a slot open from, was 11 to midnight. And, I'm going to give it a shot, see what it is.
Good. And what's your show going to be about?
The name of the show is called Into the Dark. And just going to grab maybe a guest or two. If I don't find no guest or two, then I'll just start talking paranormal. Joe gave me a lot of tidbits on what to do, and I have my questions in mind, and I just want to see how it works,
Good.
Chasing Prophecy, though, is my number one show. It is. We started how long ago? It's funny, Jen, because I was checking Facebook, and last week, we had 23,000 viewers, okay? After last week's show, we have 234,000. Isn't that
good.
great?
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't that good? We're doing a good job.
That's great.
But that's it for me.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and say good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Chasing Prophecy, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Have a good one. I got to put our closer on. I have to figure out how to do this.